fresh and new returning light novels. Hi, this is Takashi here. Today's video is on noteworthy 2023 light novel lineup. As an introduction, it will be released on the second week of September. I'm personally interested in the new and returning light novel stories. Let's uncover and introduce the works. This time, the focus is on the Dengeki Bunko label. Pretty spicy yet pretty new, especially some great favorites from a certain TV anime adaptation, which has got everyone excited lately. That said, this is quite a topic that needs to be talked, so I'm really interested. There are also some works that I'd like to pick up, so I'll be introducing them now. Firstly, this is Maugakuen no Futakigasha 14, Shiju Saikyu no Mao no Shiso, Tensei Shite Shizuntachi no Gaku e Kaiu, I. English title: The Misfit of Demon King Academy Volume 14 Part 1. History: Strongest Demon King reincarnates and goes to school with his descendants. The story really goes very deep this time, isn't it? If before, they have told the origins of the Great War of Two Worlds and Ordofu, the previous king of the Holy Sword World. This time, in 14, Anos stopped the all-out war between the Holy Sword World and the Calamity World. As a result, the existence of the mastermind known as Hermit Hermide, the god of entanglement that was causing conflict between the two worlds, came to light. I do know for a fact that, every time the male character battles an entity or a powerful being, another one came. It's like a never-ending story with no resting breaks or a pause. Uncertainty at its best. Despite that, I do feel that the TV anime needs to pick up a little pace more, after being halted and paused due to production issues and setbacks. I also felt somewhat sad that the manga adaptation did not resume what the light novel did due to the artist passed away 2 years ago. Due to that, it just ended with no signs of desire to continue. If you're interested in this or being a long-time fan of it, why not check it out? Boogiepop wa Noroweru, English title: Boogiepop is Cursed. The story this time sets a new story. In prefectural Shinyo Academy, lies the school full of cursed and bottomless anxiety and frustration hidden in the students is exposed, turning into darkness. It really has been a huge massive 4 years of this franchise, since its first story was debuted on 1998. Time really flies fast, isn't it? As a rare fan of horror stories, it's really exciting to see how Boogiepop grows, especially with its expansion into manga and TV anime. I wonder how would it compare to other horrors like Ao Oni and Corpse Party. Let me know in the comments which of them is better, or are there any others that you know about. Readers of Boogiepop should really pick this up again. Wizard's Brain X, Hikari no Sora, English title: Wizard's Brain Volume 20, Sky of Light. Yes, number 20. Came a long way finally. This is the 20th volume of this book, where before at volume 19, the war between humans and magicians is over and solved, the city was saved. But there's a catch. This time, when Tenju-ren announcing the destruction of the cloud removal system to the entire world, everyone was required to decide their position. Soldiers and magicians who try to stop Ren based on their beliefs gather at the site of the decisive battle. People who try to support Ren also gather. Ren's voice also reaches Sakura, who controls the atmosphere control satellite. It's really has been huge yet good 22 years since this book been debuted, wasn't it not? Really does sad this it has finally came into a climax of a story, which is really worthwhile. Regardless of that, I do felt a little disappointed that, no one mentioned, nor picked this up as a manga adaptation, making this a really nice hidden gem that none has known of. If I were to make a comparison now to who is better at this point, in terms of story building, it has to be Wizard's Brain, but for marketing and the concept of fantasy as a whole, it would be Sword Art Online because it has expanded into different types of versions of storytelling, like manga, TV anime, games and more. If you want to zoom back to the original, then this one might suit best for you. Himikishi-sama no Haimo, English title: The Kept Man of the Princess Knight Volume 5. It really going to a deep waters, isn't it? I was still not understand of how the male character, being a pimp always get carried hard by a princess. Seems the male was slowly being a supporting character, yes not? The story this time, Princess Knight Alwyn suddenly became the hero of the town. Meanwhile, Matthew, a pimp, has become more and more shunned by the people around him. However, as the light becomes stronger, so does the darkness. Alwyn's symptoms steadily progress and her dark spots appearing on her skin bother her. A rare sickness that can't be cured. Really drives the key plot of the story this time. It felt to me like the side character is slowly rising to the spot. To save the day, perhaps? Public authority, underworld, sun god religions. It seems we have created clans in this volume this time. Very wild. Just very wild. Would really wanted to pick up this award-winning work this time. Next, is, Kutsu Choku Volume 3. In Volume 3 this time, the darkness supplements that were put up for auction and scattered throughout the city caused the worst chaos in history. The vampire and fog monster Rage, and the original werewolf Moon, Getsu, try to pursue the mastermind behind a series of incidents. Just then, the president of Illusion Cleanup, Narazaki, made a shocking remark: "This is the end of the investigation." The boys are unconvinced, but behind the scenes, BT headquarters is moving, and there is nothing they can do as they are monsters without human rights. It really does gets me the chills of the action at this point in this volume, is it not? There seems to be a manga adaptation, if I'm not mistaken. The manga will be released right on the same day in September, which is a good understanding of how the story started. It does seems pretty a little relaxed when reading this series, compared to Jumai Saikatsu, where it was nervously peak at its pace. Probably because of its romance. In terms of its sales, I wonder when it will make its mark into the charts. I wonder. We'll be waiting for it. We'll be certainly picking this volume up with a good interest. Meshi Rakuen, Meshatopia Kashoku Society, English title, Meshatopia, Kashoku Society. By Satoshi Wagahara. This seems to be a story about foods, isn't it not? First time Wagahara wrote a story about foods. Really impressive. The story actually is about Naijima, a boy addict who aspires to become a chef, meets Yato Yasaka, a serious girl who is a member of the Food Defense Force, while escaping from the clutches of the Food Defense Force led by the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare. She ends up eating cup noodles, which is a prohibited item. The reality was that the unhealthy foods that did not meet the standards, and the unhealthy people, addicts, who consumed them, were isolated and eliminated from society, a dangerous life selection process. Never I did knew there is a one-shot story on foods and the food ministries made. A Food Defense Force worker eating cup noodles? Now that's unreal. It really is bound to be a good one-shot, compared to Dracula Yakin and Hataroku Mausama. Wagahara can stay doing that way. Imagine if in the future if cup noodles were banned the Ministry of Foods, I will not forgive myself. Since this is a one-shot, it could be seen to be a perfect ending bound. Would be interested to buy this work. And finally, Tsundere Meijo o Koros, to Megami wa Ita, English title, Kill the Tsundere Witch, said the goddess. Before then, there's a talking sword, now a talking staff. That's new. The story is about a man, who prides himself on being the world's #1 tsundere lover, was buried in a dark forest in another world before he knew it. The next thing he knew he was a talking wand. This is presumed to be an ice guy with no origins yet to be told. Pretty interesting. Moreover, if the staff wants to be a human again, he will have to kill his owner, ordered by a goddess. Now that's a strange twist to be added. The character design also seems pretty cute, with the hair color. And that, really is a witch look-alike. Since this might be a one-shot, I'm pretty sure a chance of a sad ending might be quite high to see forward to. If you do like isekai genres with weird talking objects, then this suits your taste. Now that the Dengeki Bunko releases has concluded, we now shift focus onto the release of Kadokawa books. Here, I have some few works that I'd like to pick up on. Let's start with an Imperial Chinese-style story, Kokyu no Hanamusubishir, English title, Hanayushi of the Inner Shrine. This series is ratherly quite new to me, probably because I'd never knew this was like a traditional manhwa style based. The character designs was also seems really alike. Probably because its story setting. The story was based on a woman named Kutsu Choku, who is a lowly court lady whose job is to pull weeds. Her only special skill was Hanayui, which is the art of arranging healing flowers, which are a symbol of a woman's life and dignity. However, the rough techniques she acquired through self-teaching become the key to saving the incidents swirling around her inner palace. This new series was like a combined story, two different interesting series but same kind of genre, Imperial Chinese style. But what difference from this is that the female character has special abilities to save certain person, making the story more attractive from the rest. It seems art of arranging healing flowers can become a lifesaver, isn't it? Since the story has no continuation, it can be a one-shot ending, making it either sad or happy. Would maybe try and pick this up. Next, is Mao Ni Nata Node, Dungeon Tsukut Jingai Musum to Hanabono Suru, Volume 16. The child this time has her own adventure. Interesting. Before then, in Volume 15, Demon King Yuki reluctantly serves as the Emperor of the Empire. He was busily preparing for a multi-species competition. Now in Vol 16, Yuki was busy receiving presents from the Spirit King and the Dragon Tribe to celebrate her new family, and dealing with Ryu's family who came to see their grandchild. The Demon King aside, the grandchild seems to slowly have getting her story soon. What a development. This is the first time I saw every time the Demon Lord character always wearing the same shirt across all 16 volumes. Wouldn't it get bored, I wonder? Despite that, the story really do portraits its feats of a slow life plus slice of life genre. No fighting scenes included. The atmosphere of the volume itself is also quite lively and lovely, making easy and really calm to read at. If you're a reader of a fantasy but with a slice of life take, then this could be your favorite. Isekai Tasho no Maken Seisaku Garashi, English title. Another World Swordsmith's Magic Sword Production Life, Volume 2. Being a swordsmith is an interesting job, isn't it? If before, we get to introduce the origins of the swordsmith and the journey to the search for the creator of the nameless magic sword. Now, in Volume 2, the neighboring countries is at war. Lutz meanwhile had to do the unthinkable, shoves the white arrow into the production of the treasured sword, which is worthy of the kingdom's prestige. This volume this time had some wholesome comedy, by using the concept of slow life genres. The cover of the book also looks splendid, like the people really had a jolly good time. Regarding of the sales, it has steal the show on April this year, so I'm curious to how this volume will turn out this time. This should be my next pick of the month. Considering Achuzan ga sonen shita kito, mi no me ni chikyu gata wakusi ga adakara, Ima made no jinsei was sutit easy ni ikitai, Volume 2. Surviving in an alien planet has never been more fun, isn't it? This time, in Volume 2, Rudy learns that Naomi's friend Nina has an incurable disease, and after hesitating, he decides to help treat her. Having a barbecue with Nina's family and keeping her experimental goblin, it was quite lively. When I read Volume 1, it was kinda like having the vibes of Reborn as a Space Mercenary. I woke up piloting the Strongest Starship. Now as I ventured into Volume 2 on the first half of the page, it still looked that same vibe. But this time, you trained some people in an alien planet to become warriors, even maids shoots with guns. I think, maids with guns are quite more fearless these days. Even so, this volume can seem to have a potential to get a manga adaptation, if the story was on the right track. Since it has just released this year, I wouldn't doubt there will be an increased demand of the volume soon. If you do like another slow life genre, then this novel fits your taste. And finally, Saikyu no Kantishi Tet Dare no Kodo Menkoku Gohan de Isekai Saikatsu Volume 19. This series marks its 19th volume, since its first det was back in 2017. Time certainly files very fast. Pictured as an isekai cooking slow life story, really worth a shot to read, isn't it? This time, in this volume, the boy chef was being tasked to renovating a dungeon to a Chinese style inn. Tension meanwhile rises with the exotic interior, but for some reason he gets caught up in a dangerous dungeon investigation. Finally, a real crime scene story to get out from the slow life zone. I'm impressed. Everywhere I see, there are Chinese-style elements inserted in every story. The influence is pretty strong, wasn't not? However though, I wished that it does get an anime adaptation. I was really waiting for one, but it didn't came as it meant to be. If you're into a slow life story but with cooking stuff included, why not check this out? Yes, so this time it was an introduction video of the Dengeki Bunko lineup in September. This time, there were quite a few popular fantasy works such as Maogakuen no Futakigasha, Wizard's Brain and Boogie Pop. There's also a new series from Satoshi Wagahara that I'm curious about, so it feels like a thrilling day of the second release in September. If you have any works you are interested in this lineup, hit me up in the comments. That's all for this video. I'll be introducing new books again in the next coming weeks. So, as a support, do subscribe to the channel. I would be happy if you could click the like button or watch another video. That's it for the day, as this is Takashi, signing off. See you in the next video. Goodbye.